Welcome to day 4 of the 44th Mill Valley Film Festival. Yay! Woo! We are so glad to be back in the theater. Are you happy to be back? I think so. I think so. It's, you know, in last year we did a drive-in and we had an online festival, and so this year we're just really grateful to have a hybrid festival. And we're so grateful to everyone for your support. I see so many familiar faces. I was thinking to myself, this is my 17th festival, and I don't think I've ever been happier to see everybody in person. I'd like to thank the sponsor. That we're seeing a fantastic film tonight. Like a Rolling Stone, The Life and Times of Ben Fong-Torres. I saw this film at Virtual Tribeca and fell in love with it, and I was so excited that we were going to show it, and I'm really anxious for you to see it. I'd like to thank the sponsor for the film this evening, Better Media, and I'd like to thank the sponsor of The Strand. We have a new thing that we've introduced this year to categorize the films. So this falls into the Create category, which is art, theater, dance, creative minds. And so we thank the sponsor, BSSP. I'm not going to tell you a lot about the film. I will tell you I was born and raised in the city and lived around the corner from The Matrix. I don't know if any of you remember The Matrix. And saw the Beatles at the Cow Palace and Candlestick Park, and I was at a lot of the concerts that Ben was at, but I don't think my seats were nearly as good. So we're so grateful to have the director, Suzanne Joe Kai, here that will say a hello before the film starts, and we will all be back after the film with Ben Fong-Torres for a conversation following.
Wow, this is amazing. We made it here. Thank you so much for joining us on this in-person screening. This is probably our third ever in the history of the film, and really pleased. And I hope you enjoy the film tonight. The only thing I request is there's going to be a few of us that are taking video, little snapshots and things, but we hope that you will shut your phones off and respect that, and no recordings. So thank you so much. Thank you.
I think everybody loved the film, am I correct? So welcome, Ben Fong-Torres and Suzanne Joe Kai.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you for being on the other side of the interview process.
I hate it.
I'm going to start with a question for Suzanne. How did you get to know Ben's story? What made you want to tell his story? And also, I'm wondering, are you surprised that no one had made a documentary about him before?
Yes, very surprised. And in fact, Ben and I knew each other years ago. We were both in journalism. I was a cub reporter at the NBC station in San Francisco, KRON TV, at the old age of 22, I think, something like that. And in fact, Christopher Chow actually is here. He was probably 21 when he started, KPIX, and then David Louie, actually, with ABC. He's still with ABC KGO right now. And so the three of us were the first Asian faces, actually, on network affiliate television in a major market. So we didn't have a lot of role models, and then Ben, we discovered Ben. So we were just going after, like, wow, we gotta, meet you. So that's how we met. And then fast forward years later, Ben is saying, hey, I'm coming down to Los Angeles. I'm gonna meet with Q. And do you want to meet afterwards? And I said, of course. And so we meet, and over dinner, and I'm saying, you're in everybody else's documentary on rock and roll, but why isn't there one about you? And I had just done a short film, and was, just a lot of fun short film. And he said, then why don't you do one? And I did. But then, I thought it was going to be another like fun, entertaining short film. And then when I got into the research, then it was just much more profound. And I said, this has got to be a feature-length film, probably one day even a series, because we filmed over 120 shoots. I actually stopped counting after 120. So I wanted to beat Ben's 90 on his book deal. So anyway, no, that's a joke, actually. I actually had to do all that because I was interviewing people who are what I call the insider sources, that are not, their statements and comments and their stories are not in any film, they're not in any books. And then I started to realize this is a much more profound story. I'm glad we made it.
We made it. She made it.
Ben, can I ask? I was really quite moved by the film. The ability that you have to make people feel so comfortable talking to you is a kind of a rare quality, I feel. And I don't think it's one that you can fake or try to develop. I think it's an innate thing. But I'm wondering, when you saw the film, because we often see each other differently, see ourselves differently as other people do. When you looked at the film, was there anything that surprised you about yourself, that you didn't see yourself that way?
Yeah, that people like me.
They,
That was odd feeling for the first time ever. When I talk to younger people, which everybody is now, about the profession and how I did what I did, I always use the word respect, and that you go into a situation, an interview, knowing your subject, having done research, and having heard her work or seen her movie, and read up on her or him. And so when you walk in, they know that you have done your homework, that you respected them enough to do that, and suddenly it's just a higher level of camaraderie. And that's all I looked for, because every person is different, so you have to adjust to every person and situation, and of course your own needs for a certain kind of story. So that's how I did it, and it was really seat of the pants. Obviously I learned a lot in journalism department at the San Francisco State. Gators! But it was a learning process at Rolling Stone. We really, we had good leadership, good fellow editors, but we were learning on the job.
Suzanne, can I ask you about all that archival footage? Because that was just stunning. And I'm wondering, what did you have to do? Was some of it degraded? What was the process to get it restored, or was there some that was just completely lost?
I was very, very lucky. I actually started recovering some of my own tapes, and I had known, I do know really killer great, archive people who restore these really ancient tapes. And so when Ben showed me his archives, I was astounded, and we would never let them out of our sight. I would hand carry them on the airplane. I would hand carry them to the archival, restoration people, and I would be there just to monitor, how they're handling it. And they were stunned as well. There's the conversations that Ben has had, with all these world's great artists are just astounding. They were also treating them, very, very carefully.
They were just in my storage room, just as you saw, I think. Hey, I just noticed that the water being served us here is still water.
Still waters run deep.
As
Still
in
waters
the
run
band
deep.
in Almost Famous. I'm sorry, it's a swill water, actually.
No,
that was
still
intentional on our part.
Yeah. You've done your research.
I'm sure you've been asked this before, Ben, but is there a conversation that you wanted to have with an artist that just never happened, that you really wanted to happen? And also, was there anything that didn't make it into the film that disappointed you? that you really wanted to have in the film that just didn't
Yeah,
make the
Wheel of
cut?
Fortune. I did a 3-night stand on Wheel of Fortune, and it started with some back and forth with Pat Sajak that got him to say, hey, would you like to host a show? I think he was pissed off. In terms of people I didn't get to talk to, I would say Elvis Presley. He was my boyhood idol, and I just missed him. And then Prince, I found fascinating. And then if I'm speaking more contemporary, then I would say that a woman I admired a lot, felt a lot for, was Amy Winehouse. Would have loved to have spent some time with her. Yeah, just.
What a talent.
Oh yeah, tremendous talent.
Suzanne, what's your hope for a takeaway from this film? Do you think it will inspire like a younger generation of Asian American journalists, or just the history, the documentation of this incredible history of music?
Yes, our film, when it was in development, would win these incredible fellowships, and one was at the Producers Guild of America, Power of Diversity. It's a workshop, multi-week workshop, and then Film Independence Documentary Lab. These are extraordinary. They put like a whole team around you. It's just incredible. One thing that I learned behind closed doors and everything is that Suzanne, and it was told to me multiple times with other people as well, you have a responsibility to go wide on this film. Wide, meaning not to make this, and you have a shot here because you have all these famous internationally known brands. And it's like, some of the movies that are scripted ones, if it's a Disney movie or a Marvel movie, it's instant, gets an instant audience. For an indie film like ours, we just, by coincidence, we have Quincy Jones, for example, is kind of like a big name, internationally known, and just name any of the other artists. So you, Suzanne, have a big responsibility to go wide, because this is one of the very rare moments that we have an Asian American at the center of the story. It's about his life. And it's got all these other incredible names that will help lift it into a general audience. Mm-hmm. So that was a big responsibility. I kind of carry that on my shoulders today still. But in addition to that, I was at University of California at Berkeley, the archives, studying the Asian American research. And the archive person said, the students are trending now. Oh my goodness, they're studying the 60s and the 70s. They want to find their roots of one of the first Asian American movements. I said, oh, that's wonderful. So I was there actually to look at the archives of East West newspaper. So she brings them out, and I'm looking at the early editions, and I'm realizing that it hadn't been digitized yet. I hope they have been, but when I was looking at them, and their papers were crumbling in my hands on the edges. And I said, oh my gosh, if there's more people, young students, how many times will they handle them that we're losing history right in front of me? So, and I recognized some of the people in the early editions, and they are our civil rights leaders in San Francisco community that kick the doors open for all of us. And I said, gosh, and they're trying to study out of these crumbling papers. I'm going to put them right in our film. And those are the Professor Emeritus Ling-Chi Wang, Judge Harry Lowe. These are the people that really kick the doors open for us. So that is part of history. And I said, I'm doing this film in addition to not only for a wide audience, I'm doing it for our current and future generations. Thank you.
One of the things that really moved me in the film was just your relationship with your family and the lovely relationship with your wife, Diane. And it
was here. Where are you, sweetie?
And was it hard to bring all that out in the film and kind of be vulnerable that way? Talk about your personal life and.
Well, I think once you've agreed to this ridiculous project, you have to honor your word that you're going to open up and tell the truth, just as I expected all of my interview subjects to. And so, no, there was no question about being open and honest with her, being forthright and full in storytelling. It was not easy, but she deserved no less. And so, even though it was hard, still is hard. I'm glad I did that.
Thank you, Ben.
Do you need to take a vacation now, Suzanne? What's next for you in the works?
I have been wanting to do that. I have really an incredible team behind this film in that they are actually leading me. And we have the David Magdale's, we have great, extraordinary director of photography, Fraser Bradshaw's here, Jason Josepher's here. Jonathan McDermott is here. Oh my goodness, you saved the Elton John shoot. You know, we have so many people. When I say save that, we had 2 cameras, and I'll never shoot again without 2 cameras. Camera A, which is the primary camera. So Elton is just meeting Ben, right, for the first time in 45 years or something. And a security guard walks right in front of our camera A. And Jonathan, thank you. You were handling camera B, and you caught it. We had it. That was like a once-in-a-lifetime, never-again moment, and we got it. Thank you. So we have an incredible team. So having said that, we have 3 members of the Oscar Academy guiding me for years. Doug Blush, Frida Lee Mock, Oscar winner, David Magdale, and I thought I was done, you know, this summer with Tribeca. World premiere done, pack up, and we're done. I'm going on vacation. They said, no, it doesn't go that way. So now the International Documentary Association, to my shock, awards us this in-kind campaign grant. So I'm asking David Magdale, what is a campaign awards grant? What is that for? And David's saying it is for trying to get the film considered for Academy consideration. I said, which Academy? And he said, that's the Oscars. So the International Documentary... So thank you. So the International Documentary Association is listing and has been sending out information to its membership all over the world. It's 60 what they call curated, most acclaimed documentaries of the year. And to my shock, our film is on that list. So.
I think is it time? We're going to call time now. Thank you, Suzanne Joe Kai. Thank you, Ben Fong-Torres.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you.